Hey y'all, it's Kazlo and welcome. Today we're going to talk about how to get 1080p 60 frame per second footage on your Quest 2 headset. First thing you're going to need to do to start this is going to be, you got to get the SideQuest app. And you can get that from the description below. It'll link you right to the webpage. Then you hook up your Quest 2 headset, and once you're all hooked up and you've got the little green dot, you go to the device settings and tools. Under this menu, there are three options that I use every time. And the first one is the proximity sensor. I disable that. That way when I take the headset off of my head, the screen doesn't turn black. Okay? That's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is I enable full rate capture. This means that instead of the 30 frames per second that it's going to capture at if you don't do this, it will now capture between 60 or 72 depending on your setting. My xsplit capture will only do 60, so I have to go with 60. And then the final thing that I do is the video capture size. I set that to 1080p. That's 1080p. So that's 1920 by 1080 definition of the video, and that's high definition video for those that don't know. Basically, that's going to give you the best picture that you could possibly get via this SideQuest setup. There's no 4K or anything like that. But keep in mind that all of these settings may affect performance via AirLink and or the read-write speed of your computer as it's encoding, because all these things will make the video heftier. And the final thing that's really optional, if you find the game looks really bad, you can always change the default texture size. I'm not sure how this affects the recordings if you're recording from PCVR. I think it's only going to matter in that case if you're using the OculusMirror.exe, which we'll go ahead and talk about those settings next. Okay, in order to find the OculusMirror.exe, you're first going to open the drive that you installed your Oculus to, which is by default the Windows C drive. It's going to be under Program Files, Oculus. Then you're going to navigate to Support, Oculus-Diagnostics, and then you're going to open the OculusMirror.exe. You may want to create a shortcut so that you have access to this for future use, which is Send To, and then Desktop, right? That'll throw a shortcut to desktop. So once this is open, you now have a box that shows what the headset is seeing. So for my setup, the first thing that I do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change my FOV. I'm going to go to 150% on the FOV. Okay. Then turn on image stabilization, because that'll keep the headset from shaking and jittering like it does when it's on my head. And then you can keep it upright if you like, and that just prevents it from tilting. So like if you look at it now, there's a bit of a tilt to it. Keeping it upright removes that tilt. It also might create some jittering if you're trying to do a move and it doesn't know how to translate that with the keeping it upright. But for the most part, FOV, image stabilization, and then in the parameters here, change it to mild. That'll give you the farthest out view. The other twos are much more zoomed. And then this is a personal preference, but if you want Guardian notifications or system GUIs in the display, you have to leave these checked on. If you want them to not be in the display, you have to check them all off individually, which is kind of a pain, but apparently compared to the command line that it was before, it's a much less pain than it was. And then you click again to remove the bar, and then you hit Alt-Enter on the keyboard twice. And that'll remove the file and give you the full 1920 by 1080p frame in your capture program. It will not give you the full frame otherwise. It will give you a little black box on either the top or the sides if it's set this way. So that's something to keep in mind. I think that's pretty much the gist of what I do. Oh, and then the last thing you want to do is to save your settings so that the next time we do this, all we got to do, open, click, file, load. Alt-Enter, Alt-Enter, and we're good to capture, man. Hope to see some of y'all's videos. Let me know. Peace out.